We see a lot of videos about gear and what kind of gear we're going to take to, different backpacking and camping occasions. But almost all of the time, those videos, just like the one I produced, are before the hike or before you go camping. Everyone has a great plan until you actually do the plan. A lot of times you find out the vulnerabilities, the pros, the cons of the gear that you're using while you're in the middle of the experience. So today's video, I'm going to talk about the gear I took on my backpacking trip to the Adirondack Mountains. I did a separate video about what gear I was taking. And then of course I have the video of us actually backpacking the Adirondacks. But today I want to tell you about some of the items that I took, some of the good stuff I liked about it, and some of the stuff that I didn't like so much. So stay tuned. Gear's one of them things. You can do all the research in the world, but you just never know how it's going to suit you until you're in the experience using it. And, most of the gear I took was okay. It served its purpose. It did its job. But there were a few things about some of the gear that I thought that you might want to know as viewers, especially if you watched my previous video about what gear I was taking. Any backpacking trip starts with the bag that you're carrying it all on. Weight is crucial. And I opted to go with a very light bag, the Z-Packs Arc Blast. It's a great bag. It really is. It has this external framing, and this framing actually comes out of place. So you can snap it out and then put it in a washing machine and clean it right up. Snaps right back into place. You have one bar running down each side, and then a horizontal bar running at the top and one at the bottom as well. What I did find is I sweat a lot on my back. And this little device here is supposed to kind of help prevent some of that, but I sweat a lot on my back. This thing was pasted to my back. I was a little concerned because of how thin it is, the material. There's not really any cushion on the back. I was concerned about my back feeling the different, items that were inside the bag. I didn't have any problem with that. I like the way this bag has so many places to hang carabiners from. So you can, I had all kinds of stuff hanging off my bag when we went hiking. The pockets, great pockets. It has a good pocket up here, really nice pocket in the center on the front, and then two, what I used as water bottle pockets on each side. Durability, it definitely got the job done. It really did. You can't even tell that I used it. And it's been through the washing machine. Wonderful bag. So nothing bad to really say about the Arc Blast. I kind of wish it was just a little bit bigger for the trip that I went on. I just felt like I was trying to shove so much into such a small space, but it was probably good because, it's 55 liters, and any more than that, I was already maxed out at weight. And, I've been going through all my gear trying to see where I can save weight. There's not a whole lot of, places that I can save weight. Some redundancy, with backup items and this, that, and another. I'm going to be a little better about that next time. But as far as the backpack goes, this Z-Pack Arc Blast got the job done. I have nothing but great things to say about it. My Nemo Hornet 2-person tent. Great tent. What I'll say is there is a small negative point, and that is the airflow. The first night it was 79, 80 degrees when I went to sleep, and it was so muggy and hot. There was no airflow at all. Even with the rain fly with the two flaps up, there's just very little airflow, and that had something to do with the conditions at the mountain, but it also had to do with the tent itself. The following night, the second night, it was raining. And it was a muggy rain. It was probably same temperature, but pouring rain. And I'll just say that it was horrible until the temperatures finally dropped down. Probably like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they dropped down to, lower 70s. And then it was okay. It was comfortable. But man, the airflow with two people in this little confined space, that's something that I think could be worked on. It did have nice storage off of each door where the rain fly gave you some coverage, but it wasn't enough coverage. Like it rained hard and all the dirt splattered up under the storage area. So that kind of sucked as well. I had to clean everything when I got back. The other thing is the tarp that I bought with it. It's supposed to match the tent, and it does size-wise. Water just got trapped between the tarp and the tent, and then water came in the tent in a couple of lower places. That sucks when that happens, because then everything in your tent is vulnerable to getting wet, and there's not much space. So with 2 people and your stuff, you fill it up, and that was a nightmare. Luckily, we were headed out the day that everything got wet, so it wasn't as big a deal. If I was doing multiple nights after the rain, this might be a much different review. All in all, the tent's good. It goes up really fast, and it seems to be good quality. Would I buy it again? I don't think I would. I really don't. I think I'm going to convert to all hammock camping, unless it's just a family camping trip and it's the whole family. Then we'll take our big tent. I can't see myself wanting to ever get caught in the rain with that thing ever again. Other than that, it was a pretty good tent. It kept, the rain didn't come in on the sides. It was just all kind of underneath, and it rained hard. So, in the Nemo's defense, it rained really hard. My Sawyer Minis, oh my gosh, lifesaver in the Adirondacks. We hiked in with 2.5 liters. In hindsight, that was too much water. I should have only hiked in with 1 liter of water per person and just relied on the Sawyer Minis. This is a lot lighter and takes up a lot less space than a whole bottle. There were times when we ran out of 1 bottle and we're working on the 2nd bottle before we got to a water source. So maybe a bottle and a half, maybe a hydration pack in a bottle. But we carry too much water weight. And next time I go backpacking, I'm going to try to figure out a way to get that down a little. The Sawyer Mini was absolute all-star. It didn't plug up at all. I helped filter water for people on the trail that didn't have filters. I mean, it's a little bit of a slower process, but it's much faster than the pump systems I've seen. So a big fan of the Sawyer Mini. It got the job done. It truly kept us alive, and I'm definitely going to make sure I have at least 2 of those every time I go. The Jet Boil. Jet Boil is an incredible device. Its main purpose is to boil water really hot, really fast. It does just that, and it's reliable. Part of the redundancy I was talking about is my buddy brought his Jet Boil as well. We really only needed 1 Jet Boil between the 2, with the 4 of us. And, it was nice at one time when, I think it was the morning we were leaving. I was making coffee, he was making food, we were in the rain, we're trying to hurry. So it was nice to have both units then. But weight-wise and, as far as redundancy, next time we do a trip like that, we're only taking 1 Jet Boil. And, I'm a big fan of taking some type of backup when it comes to cooking and water. So what I'll do is I'll bring a small little alcohol stove or a small little wood burning stove. And so this 9x9 tarp, I don't even know. It doesn't really have a brand on it. The only thing I want to say about that is the tarp, I learned if there's any chance of rain, set it up right away, at your campsite. Set it up, and then set it up in a way, go to enough effort to make sure it can give you a common space, to sit around a fire. If you're allowed to have a fire, you're not allowed to have those in the Adirondacks, but to eat, to hang out, for your downtime. That way you're not stuck in the tent should it be raining. That 9x9 tarp was a big deal. I wish maybe it might be just a little bit larger. We didn't set it up until we were in the rain. And so that we didn't get the optimal setup with the tarp, but the setup that we did get helped a lot. The Thermarest ProLite Apex, large or long. Self-inflating, I still have to figure out how to get it to self-inflate, because every time I've blown these things up, I've had to manually blow them up. So if you got any ideas, leave that in the comments below. I'm sure I can find it if I do a YouTube search or something, but there's only so many hours in a day. It's just not thick enough, and it narrows like a mummy bag at the bottom. I'm not the biggest fan of this, and this is pretty expensive. it's just not big enough for somebody like myself. You know, I'm 6'1", 210, and the whole mummy style, you know, your feet are constantly hanging off, and it's not, it's only, you know, maybe 1.5 inches thick. So not the biggest fan of this, especially for the size. The weight's not necessarily an issue, but it takes up a lot of bag space. I mean, you see how big that is? I think I can do better than this. I'm just not sure. If you guys have any recommendations for a self-inflating mattress or sleep bag or whatever you want to call it, to be honest with you, it doesn't need to be self-inflating. It just needs to give a nice, comfortable night's sleep. And this just fell short. My REI 25-degree bag. Great bag. It stuffs into this little, and look, you can shove it down even more. It really got the job done. It kept me warm, and there was some wetness in the tent, and I'd never even knew it because I was on top of the bag. Didn't really need to cover up with it because it was so hot, but you know, I had like one leg in it and was laying on top of it. Very comfortable bag. I don't know how it's going to perform with temperatures. When they get down into the 40s or whatever, we'll find out this winter. But so far, very happy with this bag. So my REI FlexLight chair. You know, I'm a big fan of having a chair at camp because I think it definitely raises your comfort level. Being comfortable at camp is huge. You want to get back from a long day of hiking or whatever. You want to be able to relax. You want to be able to be comfortable. And I love the chair and the setup. The problem is, and I see this happening elsewhere too, but the legs where they touch the ground are very small. And so what happens is, especially if there's any moisture in the ground, the chair sinks into the ground. And so that kind of sucks. You have to get up and pull it up every, half an hour or so. If not, the bottom, the part of the chair that you're actually sitting on will end up touching the ground. So I'm not sure what they could do about that and keep it lightweight and keep the size down, because I love the size of it. It's not too big. You can hang it off your bag and it sets up in just seconds. It's a really nice chair. I just wish they could do something where the legs touch the ground to keep it from sinking in as much. And last but not least, I want to talk about this bug spray here. This Benz. I've never used that before. Let me tell you something. In the Adirondack Mountains, bugs are out of control at times. I mean, absolutely. You feel like they're going to carry you away. They're so, they're just nasty. You spray that on, and you're like, there's no way this bug spray is going to be strong enough to keep these things away. They're just, you got black flies, you got mosquitoes, there's all kinds of stuff out there in the Adirondack. It got the job done. It's the kind of bug spray that makes your lips numb when you're spraying around your face. So, I'm not sure how healthy that is, but I do know it would have absolutely drove me insane if I didn't have some type of repellent. I saw a couple of people walking around with screened masks and things, but the temperatures were so hot. I just think that would have been, there wasn't many. There's probably only 2 or 3, but it was an idea for maybe when it's cooler, but when it's really hot, that would just be miserable as well. So I'm happy with the performance of the spray. It definitely repelled the bugs and kept them away from us. I'm just a little concerned with how strong it is. So that's it, guys. I wanted to give you the update on the gear, on some of the gear that I took, the key players that were in my bag and my bag itself, let you know my thoughts on it. And, most of the gear that I have, if not all of it, is going to be listed down in the video description below if you want to check it out or purchase it. Gear is so important for backpacking. You got to have gear that's going to perform the way you want it to, and it's going to make your life, more comfortable. So I really appreciate you sticking around for the whole video. Please, if you haven't checked out the pre-trip gear review or the actual hiking the trail Adirondack video, go check those out. They're, really, I think they turned out really good. The videos really turned out well. The hike was incredible, and I think you'll enjoy that. Please share the video with your family, your friends. Help me grow the channel so I can help inspire others. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the next video.